What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here with another 2 minute drill episode. Tuesday, May 4th, man. We are already in the month of May. Football is inching ever closer, man. I am so excited. You should be excited. And we are so close to the seasons. We're wrapping up spring ball right now. So today, only one segment. You saw it in the intro. We have the Oregon Ducks spring game. But before we get to that, make sure to give a big thumbs up on this video, man. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're scrolling below all our social media, go follow us there. And of course, man, we are so close to that 200 subscriber giveaway. We are inching ever closer. We need like 30 something more subscribers. So make sure to do that. If you haven't claimed your prize, man, I've reached out to everyone I can find contact info about. I'm still looking for Moses Sando and Sonic Boom C98. Make sure to reach out to us, email on our YouTube page, and you can reach out on social media and or my personal Twitter right there by my name. But let's get right into it, man. The Oregon Ducks had their spring game this weekend, arguably one of the most looked forward to spring games as Oregon's looking to win their third straight Pac 12 title. The offense beat the defense this weekend 35-34 after Robbie Ashford scored a 2-point conversion on the final play of the game. This is one of the more unique formats as I was kind of going through watching highlights, rewatch some of the game. The team didn't split into two separate teams. So what they did is they had a scoring system to reward the defensive side of the ball, and they also had the offense that also got points for completing drives and scoring. So that's kind of what we got here. We had over 600 yards of total offense put up by the Ducks, and this saw over 60 pass attempts across all the quarterbacks on the roster, and that's where I want to start, man. The biggest storyline going into this game was the quarterback battle. Justin Herbert out 2 years ago, and then we saw Tyler Shaw transfer this past year after leading the Ducks to the Pac-12 title this year. On a previous episode, I identified Ty Thompson, Anthony Brown as the top two candidates for this position. Jay Butterfield, Robbie Ashford are not out of this competition either. And Thompson brings a lot of experience to this position. Not Thompson. Brown brings a lot of experience to the position. Saw some action late in the season, especially in the bowl game. While Thompson is the highest rated recruit at Oregon since Marcus Mariota, this kid is super, super talented, but he's also very young. Anthony Brown, though, might have solidified himself to me as the number one quarterback right now going into summer camp. That could change, but he looked absolutely solid, guys. I mean, 68% completion percentage, 230 yards passing, a touchdown. And that came on the opening drive. After the game, though, Cristobal's comments were interesting. He said that Brown is the leader right now. He's the leader in the clubhouse, that the battle for the number two spot is very, very tight, and the competition for all the spots aren't going to die just yet, guys. So the competition is still ongoing, but it looks like Anthony Brown could have taken a big lead in terms of this quarterback battle. And I think Thompson, when I look at him, I think he needs a year of development. But I saw a little bit of promise from him throughout the game. You could just tell he's extremely young. 5 for 9, 75 yards this past weekend. But he showed some real nice touch on some throws. And for me, I think the biggest thing for him is to get a little bit of mentorship, a little bit of experience behind a quarterback like Brown is going to set him up so well in the future, man. I really am going to be excited to see Thompson. I think Brown, who spent time in the ACC, who spent time at Oregon, who has all this wealth of experience, all this talent, for him to be Thompson's mentor is huge. I think Thompson is the future of the Oregon Ducks, but right now, Anthony Brown's going to be the guy to lead them into battle. I thought Brown looked a lot better this game than he did at times, at Boston College and at times last year for Oregon. I think this guy is showing very large strides in terms of his passing ability. So I think Anthony Brown's the guy right now for Oregon. The other storyline, so I know, if you follow the podcast, you know this, but if you're new, you don't. I picked Oregon to make the college football playoff last season before COVID hit and just kind of wrecked everything up. I got some pushback, and it centered around wide receiver depth. Everyone was like, you can't point to a true number one wide receiver. I think this weekend showed that the Oregon Ducks might have one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the country. Micah Pittman, Johnny Johnson III, Devon Williams, and Jalen Redd all returned. Those are the kind of names I pointed to last season as guys that, yeah, you might not necessarily know their names, but these are all talented guys. They get a little bit more experience. They come back, and Johnson had 4 catches for 50 yards. Williams put up almost 50 yards on 3 catches. Pittman, a little bit more limited, only 2 catches. But this is what I want to focus on more. We know those guys can ball, but after you get past those names, you're like, okay, what's the future of the wide receiver room look like? Well, let me say this. Troy Franklin and Chris Hudson look like absolute studs this weekend. Franklin led all receivers with 93 yards receiving on 4 catches, while Chris Hudson caught a touchdown pass for had 50 yards receiving, 3 catches. I think both of these guys are going to get some significant touches. I think it adds much needed depth. As you saw with Alabama these past few years, as you've seen with Ohio State, as you've seen with Clemson at times, you can't have enough depth at skill positions. There's room for everyone to get the ball. There are moments where you're going to need someone other than your top guys to go and make a play. And so to have this depth is huge. And I know USC for the Pac-12 is going to get a lot of hype on the offense, especially with their quarterback situation with Keaton Slovis and things like that. But I think Oregon is going to surprise a lot of people, especially if you're not paying attention to this wide receiving room, what they're bringing back at running back, and if you don't know anything about what Anthony Brown could really bring to the table for these Oregon Ducks. And, I want to move to the other side of the ball as we start kind of winding down the episode. I mean, even after the significant losses, okay, so they lost Javon Holland. They, lose Thomas Graham Jr. They lost a lot of really, really talented players in the secondary and on this defense. I still think this defense has a chance to be a top 10 unit in the country and arguably might lead the Pac-12 in total defense, guys. I think Justin Flo, Noah Sewell might be the best linebacker duo up and coming, and both should be real threats to be all Pac-12 selections. I think Flo saw his first live action since his injury this weekend, and he racked up 5 tackles, a sack, had a tackle and a half for loss, and a pass breakup. He showed he looked just like himself, maybe even a little bit better this weekend. I'm glad to see him, see him recover from his injury. I think Noah Sewell showed his athleticism all last year. These guys are athletic. They're physical. They're high-level football players, high IQ guys that I think are going to anchor the middle of this defense at an elite level this year and next year. So I think having this linebacking core to kind of lead this defense into the season is huge. And then you add that with Kayvon Thibodeau still coming back. He had a sack this weekend. This guy might be the best defensive player in the country right now. Going into the season, I mean, I think he has like Ndamukong Suh type impact on the defensive line. I know that's a lot to say because we saw what Ndamukong Suh did at Nebraska, but I really, really think if there's a guy who can make a run at a defensive Heisman, we saw Chase Young do it, we saw Ndamukong Suh do it. Kayvon Thibodeau is the next guy that I think can make a run at it. I'm expecting him to arguably probably lead the country in sacks this year. He's going to break out this year, and there's rumors that he could be the first player taken in the NFL draft if, which he probably will, decide to leave after this season. And that brings me to the secondary. This is where, I guess, coming into this weekend, I had a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. No one was really sure how we're going to replace all this talent on the back end of the defense. Well, Bennett Williams and Brian Addison looked really, really, really good at safety. And this is a position where I think the Ducks need to have some guys step into some huge roles. Javon Holland, uh, Brady Brady Barisi. I mean, these guys are all Americans. These guys were some of the best secondary players in the country. Bar- Barisi, won the Rose Bowl MVP. So Bennett Williams, Brian Addison looks like they're going to be the next real deal at safety. They have the talent to be the future on the back end of the defense. But as you know, experience counts so much for secondary. So can these guys get up to speed and find ways to make impactful plays in the game? And as we move to the outside of the defense, the Ducks had a lot of their veteran guys at cornerback sit out. Dante Manning, though, man, this kid looks like the real deal, and I think he has first round potential talent. He could be the next star defensive back for the Ducks. 4 tackles, a pick. He possesses such elite speed, and he can be an absolute problem if he develops coverage. I'm talking about he could be a game changing field shutdown travel cornerman with his speed, his size, his athleticism. And I just want to see what Kristen Ball and this staff can do to develop him and get him to the next level. I think Dante Manning is a perfect pick for a potential breakout player for the Oregon Ducks this year. So now you got Thibodeau on the defense line, Sewell and Flo at linebacker. You got Bennett Williams, Brian Addison, Dante Manning, all the guys that set out this game, all coming back. I think Oregon is primed to have arguably the best defensive unit that they've ever had. And that's saying a lot given what last year could have been before all the opt outs. And so when I look at this, on the preview solve, we make a little way too early preview. I did the same thing with Oklahoma, and I want to preface this by saying opinions could change. This is just what I can try to take away from a spring game. It's very hard to make generalized conclusions from this, but the Ducks, they look primed to make another college football playoff run, guys. They should be the odds-on favorite for the Pac-12 title this season, in my opinion. I know USC is good. Arizona State has some talent. Colorado, Utah, they're all there. Nobody can match Oregon right now, in my opinion, in terms of pure talent and in terms of pure potential. I think Mario Cristobal is absolutely dominating up in Oregon. I think he's solidifying himself as one of the best coaches in the country, guys. And I know that's saying a lot, but I really think he's just outperforming everyone else in the Pac 12. And I think it's a matter of time before you see him start having Dabo Sweeney and or Nick Saban success that we see in the conference. I'm not saying national championships. I'm just saying Nick Saban and Dabo Sweeney dominating their respective conferences. Same with Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. Same with Ryan Day at Ohio State. Oregon is that team in the Pac-12, in my opinion. I think they are going to be so good this year, and I think they're primed based on a lot of these young guys that we talked about today to make a run, to make impact, and probably win the conference again for in the coming years too, because they have a lot of talent coming back. But guys, let me know what you all think. If you watched our Oregon spring game, if you're an Oregon fan that popped up on the podcast, man, we welcome y'all. And let us know what y'all think about the season. What was y'all's takeaways from the game? What do you think about the QB battle, the defense? What do you think about the wide receiving room? And what are your expectations for the season? Comment below, man. I will respond and interact with y'all in the comments. We appreciate all y'all support. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, man. It helps us out so much getting this content out here. We have been growing so big, and we cannot really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, enter yourself in the giveaway. And like I said, when we hit 500 subscribers, I will leak the details about our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which I promise you will be bigger and better than any other sports podcast giveaway that has been done on YouTube thus far. We have an amazing plan to get y'all one of the best giveaways out there. So make sure to subscribe below to enter yourself in that. And we appreciate y'all tuning in. But guys, we will be back 2-minute drill tomorrow. As y'all know, Monday through Friday, the 2-minute drill on our YouTube channel. So make sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you do not miss when we post an episode. We wrap up our Big 12 in 30 days today. We had a little bit of a technical issue with the guest, so we had to do the interview a little bit later, but it wraps up today. We kick off our Pac-12 in 31 days later this week. And of course, Oregon fans, if you're here or if you're a Pac-12 fan, your favorite team is coming up. So make sure to subscribe just for that. But guys, for myself, for the Blue Bloods, and the 2-minute drill, we are out.